Lionel Messi just won the Ballon d'Or for the 8th time in his career. Everybody says they don't care about the award until the winner is announced and everyone is talking about it again.
2023 Ballon d'Or France footballer is Lionel Messi.
Messi is one of, if not the greatest ever, but a lot of fans, not just CR7 fanboys, feel as if not all of his 8 Ballon d'Ors he's actually deserved. So let's look at every time Messi won the Ballon d'Or and find out if he was really the deserving winner. To do this, first we need to establish the Ballon d'Or criteria. Fans argue that the criteria changes every year. People will ask the question, is it about what you've won or is it about who had the best stats? The truth is, it's a combination of both. It is voted for by journalists, coaches and players from all across the world. So in order to crown a world's best player, the Ballon d'Or typically focuses on these 3 things: individual performance, team success, and statistical output. It's important to understand that every voter is different. There is no order for what's most important. Some voters prefer team success, others prefer individual performance. It's also worth adding in regards to team success, most of the time the Champions League is considered the biggest honour, but in years where major international tournaments take place, they take priority. Let's start with Messi's first Ballon d'Or win in 2009. It was the first year of Pep Guardiola and Barca won everything. They became the first Spanish team to win the treble. They became the first team in history to win the sextuple, winning 6 of a possible 6 trophies that year. Messi scored 41 goals. He had the best stats, he won the most trophies, he scored in the Champions League final. This here was a no-brainer. Messi was clearly the winner and deserved to win his first Ballon d'Or in 2009. In 2010, Messi won the Ballon d'Or again, possibly the most controversial of his career. He even stated in his speech that he didn't expect to win. So why is the 2010 Ballon d'Or so controversial? Well, Messi had a great year individually. He was the world's best player and put up even better stats than he did the season before. However, he didn't win any of the major trophies that season, the World Cup or the Champions League. So how did he win? Messi's competitors for the award was Wesley Sneijder and fellow Barcelona teammates Xavi and Iniesta. Sneijder won the treble with Inter Milan. He was one of the standout players at the World Cup, finishing joint top scorer and ranked 2nd in player of the tournament. For Sneijder, he had a great season collectively, and individually he was a key player for club and country. However, he wasn't the best player in the world or close to it. You could argue he wasn't the best player for club or country. So for Sneijder to win the Ballon d'Or, he'd have had to have had the perfect season. He came close, and had he won the World Cup, he'd have likely won the tournament's Golden Ball award also, which would have strengthened his case for the Ballon d'Or. Unfortunately, he did neither. Spain beat the Netherlands in the World Cup final, eliminating Sneijder from contention, which put Spanish players in the conversation. Now, giving it to a Spanish player was complicated because they were a team full of stars with no standout superstar above everyone else. For example, in 2022, if you were to give the award to the best player on the World Cup winning team, everybody would pick Messi, because he was clearly Argentina's best player. But the best player on Spain's 2010 World Cup winning team was debatable. Some would say Casillas, some would say David Villa, but most people would pick one of Xavi or Iniesta. 2 players who come as a package in one. Nobody, not even Barca fans, like to compare them, but this time they had to. And the problem with these 2 candidates is because they played for the same teams, they both accomplished the same things. Because they're midfielders, their goal scoring and assist stats aren't anything too crazy, so putting one above the other was challenging. And because Xavi and Iniesta were so hard to separate, when it came to Ballon d'Or voting, they ended up splitting votes from voters who put more emphasis on team success. Iniesta received 17% of votes and Xavi received 16%. So had they not shared each other's votes and there was one single candidate, then one of them would have easily beaten out Messi, who received just 22% of votes. Messi, despite a disappointing World Cup performance, had a historic season statistically. So for the voters who favour stats over team success, he was the only serious candidate. and because of this, he narrowly beat out his club teammates to win the award. A very important detail to remember is that in 2010, scoring 60 goals in a year was not normal. This was before Messi and Ronaldo made it normal to score 60 goals. So at the time when Messi did it, it was the most goals scored in a calendar year in over a decade, which made that statistical feat a bigger deal back then than it would be now. Andres Iniesta was probably the deserving winner. I think his World Cup final winning goal tips him over the edge, and the magazine actually publicly apologised to him for never awarding him a Ballon d'Or. Messi was a strong candidate. He was the world's best player in 2010 individually and was also undeniably Barca's best player, which does matter when the other candidates play for that same team. So saying Messi was completely undeserving would be unfair. It was a close year, and with no clear-cut candidate and all the other factors that went into it, even if Iniesta should have won, it makes sense why Messi won. But there's no denying he benefited the most from the unique circumstances we mentioned. I mean, come on, when have we ever seen 3 players from not just the same team, the same youth academy, finish top 3 in the Ballon d'Or? That's insane. Moving on to 2011, now this one really isn't debatable at all. Lionel Messi won the Ballon d'Or for the 3rd consecutive year, Barca repeated the La Liga title, and won the Champions League for the 2nd time in 3 years. Barca were the best they'd ever been, and Messi was out of this world. He produced some of the greatest performances in Champions League history and had iconic moments such as the brace at the Bernabeu in the semi-final, a crucial goal in the Champions League final against United. In 2011, he scored 59 goals, had 37 assists, so there really isn't much to talk about here. Messi deserved the 2011 Ballon d'Or, and I think only a fool would argue otherwise. Now the 2012 Ballon d'Or is interesting. Barcelona didn't win La Liga or the Champions League. Messi did win 4 trophies, but it was the Club World Cup, Spanish Super Cup, UEFA Super Cup and Copa del Rey. But none of that really matters, because this was the year Messi scored 91 goals, the greatest goal scoring year in football history. He had 113 goal contributions in 69 games. The record previously held by Gerd Müller was 85 goals in 1972. He broke an unbreakable record and made it even more unbreakable. Let's just put Messi's 2012 season into perspective. Haaland in 2023 has 36 goals. Mbappe has 31. They're not even close. You could combine the goals from the best 2 goal scorers in Europe this season and it wouldn't even be half of what Messi accomplished by himself in this year. Cristiano Ronaldo, the top goal scorer in football history, the most he ever managed in a calendar year was 69. Even Messi never reached 70 goals in any other year. So in this case, nothing else matters. Messi unquestionably deserved the Ballon d'Or, which was his 4th in a row, and regardless of any of the other factors, no player in football history has ever played at a higher level individually than Lionel Messi did in 2012. The next time Messi won the Ballon d'Or was in 2015, the first year of MSN. The iconic trio led Barcelona to the European treble again. Suarez and Neymar were both outstanding, but Messi was just a level above. He scored 52 goals, had 26 assists, and produced some of the greatest moments of his career in big games. The impossible goal against Bilbao in the Copa del Rey final.
It's a brilliant run from Messi. Did he go all the way?
And you've all seen what he did to Jerome Boateng in the semi-final of the Champions League. Messi also led Argentina to the Copa America final. They lost to Chile on penalties. He won the Spanish and UEFA Super Cup. Cristiano Ronaldo, who finished 2nd, had a great year but didn't win anything with Barca winning the treble, so Messi won his 5th Ballon d'Or, deservingly so. So far, 4 of Messi's 5 wins he unquestionably deserved. But the next 3 are a little bit more controversial. The 2019 Ballon d'Or was a very close one. The 2 candidates were Lionel Messi and Virgil van Dijk. Now Messi in 2019 individually was the most complete he'd ever been. He had everything and almost, keyword almost, single-handedly carried Barcelona to another historic treble and invincible season. Barca cruised their way to the La Liga title. They never lost a game until after they'd already been crowned champions, and guess who wasn't playing in that one game they lost all season? This was the year Barca famously bottled a 3-goal lead at Anfield and gifted the Champions League trophy to Liverpool. Cause let's be honest, Barca-Liverpool was the real Champions League final. Both Liverpool and Barca were always going to make light work back of Spurs and Ajax in the final. Barca also ended up losing the Copa del Rey final to Valencia, so although Messi had one of his greatest seasons individually, they slipped up when it mattered most, and Messi only had the La Liga title to show for his incredible season. Virgil van Dijk had one of the greatest individual seasons for a defender in recent history. Liverpool won the Champions League, however they missed out on the Premier League title by fine margins, and then with the national team, Van Dijk also lost the Nations League final to Portugal. Now had Van Dijk captured either one of those two trophies, he'd have definitely won the award, and truth be told, he needed to. We all know these awards favour the attacking players, so as a defender to win the Ballon d'Or, you have to go above and beyond. Because Virgil van Dijk only won the Champions League, Mo Salah and Sadio Mane were also strong candidates. A bit like the 2010 Spanish team, Liverpool had no clear-cut best player. Mane and Salah came in at 4th and 5th place in Ballon d'Or voting. They combined for over 500 voting points. Messi beat out Van Dijk by just 7 voting points. So once again we have a situation where Virgil's teammates took votes away from him that cost him the award. If you think Virgil van Dijk deserved the Ballon d'Or in 2019, you're not wrong. Voting was very close for a reason. People who voted for Messi voted for the guy they thought was the best player in 2019 individually, and let's not forget, Messi was dropping 10 out of 10 masterclasses week in week out. And just like in 2010, Messi was fortunate to benefit from the unique circumstances, such as the fact that Liverpool's best player was up for debate, and because Van Dijk is a defender, a position that statistics don't really do justice. That being said, if I had to pick a winner between the two, I would have picked Virgil van Dijk. But who am I to say, because Virgil van Dijk himself said that Messi should have won it. Now Messi's next Ballon d'Or in 2021 is arguably the most controversial in football history, and a big reason for that is how poorly the award was handled by France Football. So Lionel Messi didn't win the La Liga or Champions League with Barca. However, he did have an outstanding year individually. Starting from January 2021, he went on an incredible run for club, brought Barca back from the dead and into the La Liga title race, won the Copa del Rey, scoring a brace in the final, and then produced one of the greatest individual tournaments of all time at the 2021 Copa America. His rival for the award was Robert Lewandowski. Now the year prior in 2020, Robert Lewandowski was the deserving winner. Bayern won 6 trophies, and Lewandowski was the main man in that team. However, due to much of the 2020 calendar year being affected by you-know-what, France Football controversially decided not to award a winner in 2020 in a year which Lewandowski clearly deserved. So in 2021, due to him being robbed the previous year, there was a bias towards Lewandowski and people were rooting for him to win the award. And it's not like he didn't have a strong case. Lewandowski had his greatest season individually. He scored 69 goals. However, it was an international year. There were major international tournaments, and Bayern only won the Bundesliga title and German Cup. Now, domestic trophies in Germany aren't considered as valuable as domestic trophies in England or Spain by the majority of football fans, and that's because of Bayern's dominance. They've won the Bundesliga 12 seasons in a row. So in 2021, Lewandowski, despite his historic stats, didn't win any of the big trophies. Lionel Messi at the Copa America was top goal scorer, top assister, player of the tournament. He won Argentina's first international trophy since the 90s, doing so beating their arch rivals Brazil in Brazil for the first time in 70 years. Lionel Messi winning his first international trophy was an enormous deal. For years he'd been criticised for never winning anything for his country. It was a huge stain on his legacy until he went and won the Copa America in 2021. Ballon d'Or voting this year was very close again. Messi edged Lewandowski by just over 30 points. Now, where France Football lost a lot of credibility was on the night of the ceremony. They made a whole new award called Striker of the Year and gave it to Lewandowski. This was almost a sympathy award to give him something to celebrate for not winning the Ballon d'Or. What France Football should have done is exactly what Lionel Messi suggested in his speech. They should have awarded Lewandowski's Ballon d'Or for 2020 during the 2021 ceremony. Although it wouldn't have been voted for, nobody would have had issue with Lewandowski winning, and I think they really dropped the ball with how they handled this. Messi didn't not deserve the Ballon d'Or. He scored scored 43 goals, had a historically great international tournament, but Robert Lewandowski deserved a Ballon d'Or, and it's criminal that he didn't win one in either of those 2 years. However, I do think if you take away all the narrative and the obvious sympathy everyone has for Lewandowski, Messi winning in 2021 was justified. It's another one of those years that could have gone either way, but ultimately, Messi winning a major tournament with his country tipped him over the edge. Now, the 2023 Ballon d'Or is shaping up to be another controversial one. Lionel Messi just won his 8th Ballon d'Or, and in my opinion, he's as deserving as ever. Argentina won the World Cup. Messi cemented himself as the greatest of all time in most people's eyes. His World Cup campaign individually was among the best ever. He scored 7 goals, had the most assists, scored in every round, twice in the final, was player of the tournament and won the trophy. He also had a solid year at PSG and winning 2 trophies domestically. Now, we all know the reason it's considered controversial is because Erling Haaland also had a historically great season. He broke the record for most goals in a Premier League season and won the treble with Manchester City in his first season at the club. Any other year, if Erling Haaland had this season, he'd have been the clear favourite to win the award. And in terms of what Haaland did statistically, his season is comparable to Messi's Ballon d'Or winning campaign in 2015, when he scored 50 goals and won the treble. But in 2015 there was no World Cup, and if there was, and Cristiano Ronaldo won the World Cup, then Messi would have lost the Ballon d'Or that year despite his historic season at club level. A bit like Lewandowski in 2021, who had a disappointing Euros, the fact that Haaland didn't play in the sport's biggest tournament definitely hurt his case. It's unfortunate because Haaland couldn't have done any more to win the Ballon d'Or other than maybe score a hat-trick in the Champions League final or something like that. Even still, I don't think it would be enough, and I think anyone who says Messi is an unworthy winner is undermining the significance of a World Cup, because if France won and Mbappe was the World Cup winner, he'd have beat out Haaland to the award also. So now that we've gone through Messi's 8 Ballon d'Ors, the conclusion I've came to is that Messi is undeniably deserving of 5 of his Ballon d'Ors. I think he deserved 6 of them, and twice I don't think he should have won it. The 2 years I don't think he should have won is 2010 and 2019. Those were his 2 weakest Ballon d'Or campaigns because of the 2 years he didn't win any of the major trophies, with 2012 being an exception for 91 reasons. I think that in these 2 years Messi was fortunate to win. He benefited from the fact the teams who won the big competitions in those years didn't have one singular standout star above everyone else. It's also important to understand that some years the runner-up has a better year than winners of previous years. Cristiano Ronaldo in 2018, Lewandowski in 2021, and now Haaland in 2023 all finished in second place, but in other years would have been the clear winner. With Messi in 2010 and 2019, he was lucky there wasn't stronger candidates. Overall, I do think Iniesta and Virgil van Dijk deserved to win the Ballon d'Or those 2 years. The 2021 Ballon d'Or could have gone either way, and the last thing I'll say in regards to Lewandowski is the real robbery isn't that he didn't win the Ballon d'Or in 2021, it's that he wasn't awarded it in 2020 and has 0 Ballon d'Ors to his name. That's what's not right. I understand it's hard to keep a consistent criteria when it comes to the Ballon d'Or because so many factors and variables change in world football every year. Ultimately though, Lionel Messi has been a top 2 player in the world since 2007, so him being crowned the world's best player in 8 of those 16 years is something I have no problem with. If you do, let me know down below in the comments. How many Ballon d'Ors do you think Messi should have won? And which years did he not deserve it? Subscribe to the channel if new around, like the video if you've made it up to this point, and on that note it's DKM signing out. Until next time, and peace.